Mark Walsh here. So I've been asked to make kind of a warning video for potential students. Now this is a slightly surreal and potentially a lot of fun as a proposition. So we've found this, that some students are a really good fit for my own style of training and more broadly the organisations like EFC that I'm EYP as well that I'm a part of. While other people just don't get on well, and we found that it's best to kind of tell people in advance some of the things that they might not like, some of the things that they might not get on so well with. All right, so where to start? On our training, it's very logical, very rigorous. There's a certain discernment there. So it's not kind of dolphins and rainbows, and it's not new age. You'll find that if that's your flavor, you might actually get a little bit upset that some of those views will be challenged. More broadly, we could say that challenge is a part of our courses. I'm known as being provocative. I'm known as being challenging. It's more to me than that, but that's part of the training. The assumption here is that people are robust adults. So the assumption isn't you're broken and delicate and damaged and this is a healing course, education course, not a healing course, despite there being some crossover between the two. So the assumption is you're here for education, you're a grown-up, you can handle it. That's not an excuse to be abusive, so we are ethical. There's hard ethical lines like we don't sleep with students, there's no business actually between students as well with students. There's a bunch of ethical lines and there's a kindness there, but there's also challenge, there's also a sense of like, you're a grown-up, fucking deal with it, yeah? It's like, if you're gonna be an embodiment trainer and you can't handle, I don't know, the word fuck, that which I use almost like punctuation sometimes, get over it, it's just a word. You being offended doesn't change anything or control anyone. In fact, I'd say if you believe in the concept of being offended, you may be in the wrong place. So people may say words you don't like fuck. There may occasionally even be a cunt or a retard or some other word that you've deemed as bad and unacceptable. People may express different political views. So I'd say myself and most of the staff are sort of left-leaning, progressive, liberal, classical liberal. However, we may express some conservative views. And there are people on the trainings who equally may express conservative views, and that's okay. So I'd say if you're coming from this super hard left, super politically correct, authoritarian left stance of trying to control everyone, massively obsessed with diversity and equality and these things, which, have good hearts to them, but have gone a little bit excessive in recent years, you probably won't get on that well with the training because myself or someone else will say something that you regard as unacceptable or problematic, and you just won't have a good time. Equally, people from a sort of very hard right point of view might also not have a good time, but I'd say we tend not to have such an issue. Nazis generally don't turn up at the training, so it's more to the hard left people I find myself speaking to. They're the ones I find controlling in the kind of modern context, actually. Okay, so you might get offended. If you think that's a thing, fuck off. It's super logical rather than new age and kind of dolphin fucking. It's no guru method. So equally, you're not going to be told this is the one true way. If you believe there's one true way, like you're a hardcore Iyengar fundamentalist or Five Rhythms fundamentalist, again, you're going to come into problems because we're intricative. We're looking at many perspectives rather than saying this is the way, or, often there's two trainers, myself and one other, different points of view, personalities, genders, nationalities, politics, two different points of view. So you need to be sophisticated enough to handle that rather than being, wanting the one way. So there's this idea now of the safe space, which kind of comes from, again, a particular point of view, may be appropriate for traumatized children. If by that someone means that it's ethical, that it's basically respectful, people aren't going to be abused, great, we're on board with that. However, there's a bit of a spread happening, and now people seem to think that this idea of a safe space, which some people demand, means they're never offended, they're never having a bad emotion, they get to control every little thing that might trigger them. This ain't that, okay? This is a place that can be confronting, where you'll be challenged, where people will express different political point of views, where people may use language you don't like. This is not a place for those who would demand a place of never being upset. Our trainings are challenging to people, and we treat people like adults. We expect them to have personal responsibility too. What I mean by that, for example, is it's not a culture of victimhood and excuse. The culture we have around trainings is one, for example, like, hey, turn up on time. Don't make excuses for that. Do your coursework. Don't make excuses for that. Now, again, we're not inhumane. If someone's, I don't know, mum dies, for example, we're not going to have a go at them for not doing their homework that week. But the basic assumption here is like, you're a grown up, do what you say. Victimhood is not part of what we do. That kind of weaponized victimhood that we see in some of the culture at the moment, not really cool. The other thing is we just have a sense of humor. So there will be jokes. Some of them you may not like. Some of them you may love. And really this video is not just to put people off. There's some people I really just want to put the fuck off the training. But there's a lot of you, I think, listening to this, I hope, will be like, great, I want to be treated as an adult. I want a challenge. I will take personal responsibility. I love having a sense of humor. So this video is really about who's a good fit for the training, because those people are going to love it. I'm going to love teaching them. They're going to get the most from it. So if you're one of those people, great. If I've scared you off, goodbye and good luck. I'm sure there's a place out there where you can be treated like a snowflake. However, on our courses, there will not be unicorn fucking at all on the courses, okay? So there we go. I hope that hasn't scared off the wrong people. A little secret, shh, don't tell anyone, I'm actually quite nice, all right? So don't think that it's going to be shouting and screaming and heaviness. Yes, there's an intensity to the training, but there's also a lot of kindness and a lot of humor.